It sounds almost unbelievable today, but there was a time when Pakistan sat in the front row of India's Republic Day parade as chief guest. Not once, but twice. In 1955 and again in 1965, senior Pakistani leaders were invited to preside over India's most important national ceremony at a time when mistrust, unresolved borders, and the Kashmir dispute were already deeply entrenched. The first instance came in January 1955. Pakistan's then Governor General Sir Malik Ghulam Muhammad attended the Republic Day celebrations in New Delhi. This was the year the Grand Parade moved to Rajpath, now Kartavya Path, turning it into a powerful display of India's sovereignty and military strength. Inviting a Pakistani leader so soon after Partition and the 1947-48 war was a bold political gamble by then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. The idea was simple. Symbolism could soften hostility where formal diplomacy had failed. Sir Malik himself was a controversial figure. Though a former ICS officer with administrative experience, his tenure in Pakistan weakened constitutional governance and strengthened executive overreach, trends that later fueled Pakistan's civil-military imbalance. Still, his presence on the saluting dais was meant to signal mutual recognition and a willingness to engage despite deep disagreements. A decade later, history repeated itself. In January 1965, Pakistan's Food and Agriculture Minister Rana Abdul Hamid was invited as chief guest by Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri. The visit was framed as a confidence-building step during a period when both sides were quietly reassessing military capabilities. That optimism collapsed rapidly. Within months, Pakistan launched military operations in the Run of Kutch, followed by Operation Gibraltar in Kashmir, triggering the 1965 India-Pakistan War. The contrast was stark. Ceremonial smiles on Rajpath, followed soon by tanks on the battlefield. Even at the time, these invitations sparked debate in India. Supporters argued ceremonial diplomacy could keep dialogue alive when channels were limited. Critics warned it risked legitimizing hostile behavior. Newspapers described the gestures as cautious civility, not blind trust. Later efforts followed a similar pattern. In 2014, Prime Minister Narendra Modi invited Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif to his swearing-in. In 2015, Modi made a surprise stop in Lahore. Both gestures collapsed under the weight of terrorism and renewed tensions. The Republic Day invitations of 1955 and 1965 belong to a very different diplomatic era, when symbolism was seen as a tool to restrain conflict. They also decisively disproved the claim that India never accepted Pakistan's legitimacy. What they ultimately show is a hard truth. Ceremony alone cannot overcome strategy built on distrust. With Farhan Khan, Bureau Report, India Today Global.